make your opening statement.
Very good. Thank you very, very much. And I first want to acknowledge briefly how grateful I am and to compliment you on beginning this tradition in Indian country to bring forward political leaders before they have power. They're a little more amenable to listening. Once they're in office, they don't hear so well all the time. So I want to congratulate you on that. And like in Alaska, I was at the first meeting of the natives of Alaska, and I was very proud that my candidacy amalgamated the group because I went to the villages. I'm probably the only white man in Alaskan history that's been to almost every single village. And I did it over a period of years. You can't do this all at once. It was my secret tactic. And that tactic prevailed, and though I lost in a congressional race, I won in the Senate race. And it used to be funny, I'd go back to a village, and all of a sudden, you know, the village had voted 95 to 1, and I would tell the chief or the elder, I'd say, have you found that turkey who voted against me? I got to tell you, it's up to you to get him, if we can Tom Cod him, if you know what that expression means. There are some Alaskans in the audience. I want to have them stand up. I know that there's Diane here who's running for Congress, and I know there's some other Alaskans. But won't you think that won't be an honor for us to have an attractive lady from Indian at the Tlingit Haida roots in the Congress of the United States? Now, you know, we Alaskans, we don't call it Indian country, we call it native country, because we want to include the Eskimos, we want to include the Indians and the Aleuts on the Aleutian chain. I want to thank Governor Dean. I like to call him Dr. Dean because I think a doctor ministers more closely to people's needs. But I want to thank him for being here representing the Democratic Party, because what he's done, he wants to honor you, that this is your first meeting. And this is part of his whole leadership, and that is there's no red or blue states. They're all states that we're all interested in. That's the Democratic Party that he's trying to lead. Thank you.
Senator,
let me just touch. You want to ask? Have I used up my 5 minutes already?
you have time.
Well, if I got 5 minutes left, I'm looking where's the red and green or whatever it is.
It's right there.
Let me tell you that, one, you've had the pleasure of listening to both Dennis Kucinich, who I think is an extremely courageous and thoughtful, spiritual human being that, you know, if he gets to be president, you haven't missed a thing. He's great. Now, if also I want to talk about Governor Richardson. Now, anybody who runs and becomes governor in his state, you know he knows Indian issues. You know where he stands just by the very fact that he's the governor of that state. And so here too, you can't go wrong if he winds up as your president. But I'd like to be your president because I know your tradition. You honor people of age because you know they have wisdom. Well, I got to tell you, you're looking at somebody who's got wisdom the hard way through with time. And so these two gentlemen that I think would be very good, I think would even be better working in my administration. And understand one thing, it will be one hell of an administration. Because I'm only going to serve 4 years. You won't be able to take more than 4 years. You'll be so busy chewing what I've accomplished in that 4 years and digesting it. Oh, I'll tell you why. Remember John the 23rd, he was made Pope. He was in the 1960s, made Pope at 78, lived 4 years, did more changes to the Catholic Church than had been done since the beginning of in 500 years. That's what a person could do in his mature years. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. The most important thing I can do in running for President of the United States is to empower you to make laws. You're concerned about your sovereignty as Indians. Well, you ought to be concerned about your sovereignty as Americans, because all you can do is give your power away on Election Day to elected officials who are telling you what you want to hear. You are all qualified. You're authorities on your lives. And there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to make laws in partnership with your elected officials. It's a win-win. They'll do a better job on a day-to-day basis, and you will be able to do the job in making the policy decisions that affect your lives. That's what I stand for. I become president. If you haven't already voted for it at the nationalinitiative.us, I promise you, for the first few months, I will be on your back saying, vote to empower yourself so that I can take my political agenda to you, because I don't think the Congress will pass my political agenda. That's my 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator, our first question comes from Chairwoman Marianne Green of the Augustine Band in California. She's not here. Okay, will the chairman of the Nez Perce Tribe of Idaho, Samuel Penny.
A great historic tribe, I might say.
Good afternoon, Senator.
Thank you.
The question I would like to ask, there's a lot of discussion about trust responsibility and trust reform going on in Congress over the last several years. But one of the things that has taken place, the Cobell litigation has taken place over individual Indian account money holders. And there's also another issue regarding tribal trust accounts. In the last Congress, there was a proposal to settle both accounts for a total of, I believe, $8 billion. And I think tribes across this country objected to the federal government lumping those two accounts into one piece of legislation. Alberto Gonzalez, U.S. Attorney General, had stated, I believe in March of 2005, that he believed the federal obligation may be as high as $200 billion. So my question to you is, if you are elected, how would you find a fair and equitable settlement to the Cobell litigation, which has to do with individual Indian money account holders and also the tribal trust accounts that are being held by the federal government on behalf of individual Indians and Indian tribes?
Let me answer your question this way. One of the things I'm proudest of is co-author of the Alaska Native Claims Settlement legislation. I'm responsible for pushing it out to 40 million acres and also pushing it out to $1 billion. But one of the things that I did, and I was prepared to filibuster the whole issue, had we not decided to, when the natives of Alaska get their land, get their money, it's their land, it's their money, and the federal government's got nothing to do with it. I forced that issue, and that's the way it now stands in law. You're talking about issues of finance. I'm very knowledgeable because of the background I have with the base of power I had in Alaska with the Native community. I'm very knowledgeable about the IRS and how they treat, and how the Indian Service, how the BIA. What you need is a situation. When you talk about sovereignty, I'm going to give you sovereignty as president. You're going to be in charge of all your monies, period. There'll be no investment by the federal government looking into what you're doing and telling you what to do about it. You can go to, Diane comes from Sitka. Go to Sitka, take a look at the area, and you'll see a little enclave that looks like a retarded area economically. It looks almost like a slum. That is where the BIA controls the funds and the monies of the Indian people. And that's what has to end. And that the only answer I can give to you, I don't know the specifics, but I'll tell you this. I'm President of the United States. The Indians in Indian country will be in command of their own monies, period.
Thank you, sir.